I was heading into the grocery store today and I was just like stressing over the fact that I was gonna have to spend like $80 on groceries.
What's crazy is how expensive going out has gotten, and the fact that
unless a person came up to you and held a gun to your head and said, unless you buy these grapes, your whole family is going to die, then why did you buy them?
What's up, Financial Hawks? So in today's video, we're going to be going over the craziness that's going on with everybody. It seems like, especially online, with the costs of living being so dang high. We're going to be going over some videos that should hopefully give us a good plethora of different views on this from, I guess, people experiencing this when they're not really increasing their life. They're not increasing how much they're spending. And then, just inflation, everything is just taking them out. But also people who are actually spending a lot of money and doing other things and also being affected by this, because it's definitely both ways on this. But I think it's definitely more so with the inflation and other things kind of just going up. But let's go ahead and start this first video. And I'll just show some of my advice too throughout this as well.
Biggest financial mistakes is being a victim to lifestyle creep. I am a victim, and this is such a painful learning experience. Graduated in 2022, and I made sure to celebrate. 3 months after graduating, I leased my car. Not the best decision. This was my first taste at adulthood, at freedom, so I was really living my best life. I was at every concert, every nice restaurant. I was getting every beauty service you could think of, and I took 5 trips in 1 year. It was the most I had ever traveled in 1 year, and while this year was so much fun for me, I did not realize the damage I was doing. It took me a couple of months to realize that I was living completely beyond my means. It sucks, and it's hard to admit in a society where everybody pretends that they have all the money in the world and is bad at the end of the year. This is what my savings account looked like, and I literally could not sleep at night. I studied finance, I worked in banking. Theoretically, I should have known better. All of a sudden, I had this car to pay for, and each week I would say, I'm gonna start saving next paycheck, and it just never happened. Since then, I have become a strict budgeter, and I have totally redeemed myself. It makes me so sad to think about where I could be financially if I didn't let those 8 to 9 months get away from me. I absolutely still have fun and travel, but now I know to leverage my credit card points and sinking funds when I'm doing these things. I'm posting this because I recently made a video about my savings accomplishments. Who am I to speak to transparency if I can't be honest with you guys about my ups and downs in my own financial journey?
Okay, cool. So I like this first one. I like that she was being honest about where, what she was doing with her money. And she said she went spend about 8 to 9 months. I was kind of just splurging, not giving a dang about what she did. Several different trips, got her leased a car. Lease. I didn't even realize he leased it. I thought she just financed it. So she leased it. So she still has to pay that. Give it back, right? After a few years. 2022 Honda Civic. Interesting. I wonder what's the reason she leased it versus financing it. If you're gonna, wow, okay. So anyway, let's continue. All the food. So she was kind of just turning up. And I think a lot of people do that. Especially, if you got a good job right after college and you have all this extra freedom, I guess it's more understandable for sure. Compared to you being 30 and 40 and you get a new job and doing craziness. But I understand where she's coming from. But I think this is kind of what a lot of people are going through, the lifestyle creep. And that's one of the reasons people don't have money, not just now, but throughout time, 10, 15 years ago, you'll see interviews, especially on YouTube, about rich people who are making millions, like basketball players and whatnot, still living paycheck to paycheck, or people like that living check to check because they're spending all their money. Even though they're making a lot of money, they're also spending so much money. They're not having anything in investments. They don't have any other sources of income. And they think the money is going to always be there. And then when that money, or when they lose that position, lose that, that job, lose that career in the NFL, NBA, then they don't have anything else there. Just thinking, okay, next year I'll get this money, or next year I'll save it for sure. And it doesn't happen. I'm glad that she acknowledged that she was in the same thing, but end up, shifting around. And yeah, you can still have fun and all that too, but you definitely got to realize how much money that you're currently making to see how much you can actually turn up. I'm just being straight up with you guys. It looks like from all the stuff she was doing, it looked like she had a pretty good paying job. So I think that definitely helped out with her paying off her debts versus somebody who may have a lower paying job trying to pay off all their debts. Also, too, I don't remember saying anything about paying rent. I could have missed that. So maybe she's still living with her parents. And if you're still living with your parents, that is a great time to save. That is a great time to save, especially if your parents don't require you to pay rent. You can really save some money. And I think that's something that a lot of people should do. I've just been hearing so many stories, I guess, prior to 2020. People right when they turn 18 or right when they turn 22, they used to leave the house and to do a YOLO. But if you're able to save up, that can help you out so much. So let's go ahead and start out the next video.
Food, gas, shelter, etc. All those things cost. I feel like the cost of living has never been as bad as it is right now. Because it used to be when the cost of living was high, it was for the things that you need in life. Food, gas, shelter, etc. All those things cost a lot of money. Right now, all of those things still cost a lot of money. And also, I feel like it's just expensive to just be alive. Like, I feel like my life, as soon as I wake up, is literally just me putting down a credit card. And it's just a tab. And life is a bartender. And it's just like, what are you going to have? And I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't really need anything today. And it's just like, oh, really? Well, if you're going to be here, you're going to need to spend money. And I'm just like, what do you mean here? I'm just in the world. And it's just like, yeah, you have to buy something now. It's even getting to the point where, like, I feel like even my thoughts are getting expensive, you know? Like I could just have the thought of, like, my nose is a little stuffy. And then all of a sudden, I open up my phone 10 minutes later and have 12 ads for, like, oh, you have a pollen allergy and you got to buy these anti-pollen allergy pills or you're going to suffocate in your sleep. Sleep is the only place I still feel kind of safe. But even there, it's like I could have sleep problems for one night and then I wake up feeling kind of groggy and all of a sudden I'm getting targeted ads for melatonin. It's like all of our necessities are still expensive. And then also just every increment of our life costs something.
All right, I like this one a lot too. And yeah, I definitely have noticed this and felt this throughout these last few years, like just the amount of things that have increased. And even though my salary or the amount of money I'm making has increased, if I was making this exact same amount of money like 4 years ago, it would be totally different. I feel like I would be able to like spend so much more. And just looking at my bills and just looking at what I've been paying, looking at what other people have been paying on stuff, it's like, yeah, it has definitely increased in a lot of different ways. The groceries, I thought the groceries for me increased a lot, but maybe the frequency that I'm getting the groceries may have also increased. So maybe that may have been a thing. I did a video of me comparing some of my prices of things I bought this year versus like 2-3 years ago. And I didn't really see like a too big of a difference there. Like I thought I was going to initially see, but again, they're probably because of the different foods and other items that I'm getting now versus back then. And yeah, I mean, kind of just again, going through the amount of more money that I'm making now than I was like literally 4 years ago. And just seeing how it seems like the amount of stuff I'm able to buy, or I guess if I wanted to splurge on, is less than it would have been years ago. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can see that for sure, especially if you're, managing the bills in your household or whatnot. But even though he was kind of being funny about, you just waking up and having to spend, it really does feel like that, high key. I'm not going to lie. It really does feel like that right now. And heck, so even when you're sleeping, because you got your AC running, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be up higher. The insurance is everywhere going up higher. It's just like everything is kind of just going up higher. Not even just your rent or your mortgage. You got everything, I feel like, going up. So I like this video a lot. I'm pretty sure the comments were probably wild on this. But yeah. The cost of living has definitely increased, and I don't think it is going to be just going down randomly. I think it's going to keep on increasing. That's what we're looking like right now, guys. This is what we're really looking like. So if we really want to, make sure you're a little bit, have a better cushion, definitely look at having multiple sources of income, guys. Multiple sources of income. Check out some of my videos on the channel on different ways you can do that, because they can definitely help you out right now and in the future. For sure right now, man.
Every time I think about or trying to move out my parents' house, the cost of living just get higher and higher.
Between the ages of 22 and 28, I would always have this feeling that people who stayed with their parents for too long, it was kind of like a bad look. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was kind of like one of those things was like, you're kind of too old to be doing that. Shouldn't you like venture out on your own and shit like that? Shouldn't you try to like be your own person? I no longer feel like that, because things are incredibly expensive right now, to the point to where it's almost laughable. I got my first apartment by myself when I was 23 years old. Rent was $595. A little bit of tax and shit, it went up to a little over $600. I live in Charleston, South Carolina. By the time I moved to Columbia, South Carolina, which was 4 years later, my rent was $700. So I transitioned from $700 in Charleston to $700 in Columbia. Everything was good. Stayed in Columbia for about 2 years and then moved back to Charleston. My rent now is $1,400 for this small ass apartment, right? You can't really see it because I got the lights off, but this small ass apartment, like right there, that little, let me see, that little break right there, there's a bedroom on this side of the wall and there's a bathroom on the other side of the wall. That's it. $1,400. I no longer feel the way I felt about people not wanting to move out of their parents' house. Now, granted, I still would have to figure it out because I like my own independence. I like being able to come and go as I please. I don't like waiting on people. So I would have figured out, a way to do it on my own. However, when I see people who still live with their parents and they're, in their mid 20s, creeping up to the late 20s, I just be like, hey, they got a dynamic working out with their peoples. If they like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Their people's cool with it. I ain't got nothing to say because shit is hard out here. I'm literally patting myself on the back because I switched car insurance companies and I saved $400 a month. I saved $350 a month by switching to Geico. No, I'm just kidding. Geico sucks ass. And I look at that like, wow, that's a good thing because my rent is always going up. Car insurance always going up. Cost of everything. Like eventually we're going to have to start riding, right? Eventually we're going to have to start doing something to get the attention that this shit cannot continue to happen because it seems like everybody in the world is profiting off the services that the American people offer except the American people. You get taxed on the money you get taxed when you buy shit with it, you get taxed when you drive to work, you get taxed when you work, you get taxed when you drive home, you get taxed on the food you eat, you get taxed on thinking about taxes because taxes is something you shouldn't be thinking about because you should just pay your taxes like a fucking law-abiding American and shut the fuck up about taxes. Fuck all that. Eventually, very soon, we're going to have to do something about this shit. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I'm telling you now, eventually, something is going to have to give because there is no way that this can continue to be a thing and people are just going to accept this for what it is. This shit is not going to work very long.
Okay, this was another good one. And I think this sets us on a lot of different points. So before I forget, he talked about this kind of like close to the end, but talked about the insurance. And like he was joking about saving like it's $400 a month switching to Geico. That's so funny too, because I actually got Geico for one of my insurances on my Corolla, actually. I think I switched to them like a year or two ago. And they actually did save me some money compared to the company I had previously. But this is something I do too. And a lot of people don't do. But looking at different insurances, guys, every year, like for your, not just for insurances, but I guess for like things in general, like if you're looking for a different internet plan, I think that's good to always look at that yearly because you may be able to find another one in your area that is cheaper. A lot of these companies, though, they have like, I guess, like 90% of the, I guess, area or whatnot. So you may not always have options, own cable or own like internet, for example, but that's something you can still look at for sure. I'm in Dallas, so we do have a good amount of options. So I think it's always good to check that because you can save money. I save a lot of money doing that a year. Car insurance too, you can save a lot. Just looking at different companies. Again, I try to do that once a year. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Home insurance, that's something I'm actually looking to change this year. This year I have been slacking on that one. But a lot of the other insurances, different stuff, I think it's always good to look at it yearly because again, you can probably find somewhere else that is cheaper. And it may not save you $400 a month, but it can save you maybe $400 a year. It can maybe save you $80 a month. $60, $50, $40 a month, and that can add up throughout the year. So that's something I definitely recommend. And that's something a lot of people don't do. A lot of people do not look at this. They just keep one plan forever. And then they're wondering why they're spending so much more money because these companies start like chipping and just adding new fees. Like in my parents' house, like for their internet, I remember that price being so high for the amount of gigabytes that they're getting. Or megabytes that they're getting. Like their internet speed does not match up with the cost. Like comparing it to how much I was paying for that same speed and how much I was paying for a higher speed. So, that's something just to look at, definitely look at for sure. The first person who was talking right here, talking about how it seemed like it's very hard to get out of the house or leave the house because every year everything is increasing. I feel for you, man, because these last few years have been crazy with that. It definitely has. The percentage of everything increasing per year to the amount of money that people can actually make is nowhere in comparison. Like the wages to the actual increases, inflation that we have been seeing, not just in the last 4 years, but the last 20, 30 years is crazy. I think they did like a lot of different studies on this, but one of them was like the amount of money it costs to go to college and like how much that's just skyrocketed and how wages did not even go nowhere near that. And same with other places too. and the wages are super low, barely increasing, but everything has increased 100, 200, 300%. So yeah, I definitely feel for you, man. Like I also had like the same point of view too. Like mainly if you're like a guy and you're still living with your parents, like 25, 26, 27, 28 plus, and you're not saving, like you're still living with your parents and whatnot, and it seems like you're just not like moving anywhere. It's like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? And I still have that. If you're not doing anything, if you just just sitting there, spending all your money on bull crap and then still living off your parents, I think I'm gonna respect you like that. I'm not. But if you're saving up, trying to do something, I feel for you for sure, especially now because everything again has increased. The amount of money people are making versus the amount of everything has increased is crazy. Talking about what, having a $500 rent going all the way to $700. I thought that was a lot. Now with $1,400 for a small little apartment, and then that's not even in New York. New York got even some more craziness. You paying like 4 or 5K for a 4-bedroom place that you also have to have roommates in each one. And I think like a studio is like 2,000 plus. So it's like, yeah, everything has increased crazily. So yeah, I do have a little bit more slack too if you're older than that, and sometimes you may have to move back. Hey, I definitely understand there because it's crazy right now. It is really crazy right now.
2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year. I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments. And a lot of the time, they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, you shouldn't have chose that job. Somebody has to do it. And you know damn well, if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right? Something has to give. I cannot keep doing this.
Okay, well, some of that I agree with, and actually some of that I don't. I guess I'll start with the part I don't agree with. Like, say somebody has to do it. And so, just because it's a job opening does not mean like you can't just force every job to just pay everything for you. Like, yeah, we need people to flip burgers, but I can't say, okay, because of that, you deserve to make $100,000 a year. Like, you can just like do that. Like, that's just not how the world works. That's how it never worked. I feel like I can't think of the word for it, but like, yeah, I feel like that's more that Gen Z, like younger crowd stuff. I'm not saying just younger people do that because a lot of older people are like this. I don't know her age, but like, that's the first thing I disagree with. Like, you can't just say like, hey, we need people to be maids. So therefore I need $100,000 so I can pay all my bills. Like, no, that's not how that works. So yeah, that's one of the first things I had a red flag on that. She also said she living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, that does suck. And like she had 2 degrees. I wonder what degrees those were in. Because you just having 2 degrees does not necessarily just make you going to make a whole lot of money. It definitely depend on what you're in. Like, I'm assuming it's not like engineering or anything, or like cybersecurity or like computer science, because you would only have one of those. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what those degrees were. But just because you get a degree does not necessarily mean you're going to be getting paid a whole lot more, especially depending on what type of degree. She didn't say what type of degree. So I'm not going to go too far on that, but it definitely depends on, what type of field you're in too, on how much money you're going to be making. I do feel her on, 80K. You feel like you should be able to pay everything, and you probably can still not be able to pay everything there. Of course, she may be able to decrease some things in her life, but I believe the place that she's living at is probably a higher cost of living as well. So even making 80K, it's still going to be tough, and you're still not going to be able to live higher than a paycheck to paycheck unless you're making a significant more money. So I do feel you on that too. And my recommendation on that would be either start looking at other sources of income. I'm assuming you're starting this YouTube page right here, or not YouTube, TikTok page. So I'm pretty sure you're probably making videos there. So that's one good thing. You can start making money on TikTok. You can also post these videos on your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, start making some money there. You can still use the same content you have on TikTok and just put it on those platforms, and can make some side money. So that's one way you can make some side money. Video editing, you can look at something like that. Look at Upwork for some like side work you can do outside of work that can help you out. And I guess the third one would be to change your field that you're currently working in. It looks like you're getting paid 80K, I think she said. So, it's not bad at all. So I guess depending on your strengths, maybe you can maybe look into something to tech, even though tech is kind of hard right now, but everything is kind of hard right now. So that's like another thing I would probably look into as well. Maybe a different field or maybe a different position or a different job. Like you can still keep your same, I guess, career path, but maybe switching to another company or something along those lines, because that's another way you can increase your income by going from one job to another. So I think there's several different ways that if you're watching this video right now, you can increase your money. And if you're in the same boat right now, like her, I think, those are some things you can do right now, I feel like, so that you can make some more money and not have to worry about living to paycheck or less than paycheck to paycheck, or I guess more than paycheck to paycheck each month. Because I think she did say, yeah, she's paying some extra stuff like throughout credit cards or something along those lines.
They're already trying to raise our rent. And because of that, we had a whole like dispute thing with our landlord this morning. And because of that, I'm already on plan B, C, D, all the way up to Z in my head. And I'm trying to find already another place as a backup in case we do have to move. Why is it that no place near us that can accommodate me and my child and my man is affordable? Nothing is affordable in this city at all. 2-3 bedroom apartments and the prices are $3,000-$4,000, even $5,000. That's fucking ridiculous. And I'm crying because I know everybody's gonna come at me talking about, oh, so just move. I can use that money to rent a house somewhere else. I understand that. My family's here, my friends are here, my community. I don't want to leave home, And it's so frustrating because like so many of us go through this that we have to eventually leave our homes because we can't afford to be here anymore. And I'm fucking frustrated. My family is here, my best friends are here, and that's all I have. And the fact that we might have to leave and relocate another state hurts. Because we can't even afford to live home anymore. I'm just upset, and I just needed to vent because I know this is something so many other people go through. And I know I don't really talk about it on my page, but I relate to all of you, and it fucking sucks. And I know that my city is losing its people because of the rent, because of the price of living. This shit is ridiculous. I hate it.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. New York, I think I was just literally just talking about New York, how crazy prices are over there. But yeah, New York City, man. My bro living over there, he lives over there and also Cali as well, doing modeling. I remember years ago, he was talking about it was like $4,000 a month. And he has, him and other roommates, but like they're all putting together to get the $4K a month for like small little place that was smaller than my house. And that was years ago. So I can just imagine how much, that little spot is, because the amount of increases in housing had just increased by a lot. But yeah, when I was also hearing this, it also reminded me of the people in Hawaii who, like the natives there, having to actually move to the States. Like they're not able to stay like, in Hawaii, they had to move inland. I think to Las Vegas. I think that's the highest amount of Hawaiian indigenous people now versus Hawaii, just for the fact that everything has increased so much there and everything's getting bought out. Like regular places now are now like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So I do feel for right there, but hey, you may have to do like kind of what the Hawaiian, indigenous people have to have done, move, which sucks. But I don't see the cost of living in New York City getting better. I don't see wages and everything just magically improving for everybody, unfortunately. And that sucks too, because I know you get your friends and family and whatnot. But hey, maybe if all of you guys start moving to a certain place, maybe you can start you can start something new in a new area. That's what I would say. But yeah, you got a kid and you got your man. I guess you guys kind of had to like decide, like staying in New York and just staying broke and seeing the increases there every single year, where you're not able to pay anything at one point, or you're going to be struggling the whole time, or moving. I guess another thing you can do, I talked about again, like upskilling yourself. I have no idea what career fields you and your man are in, but maybe looking at other career fields. That could also be another possibility. Maybe get into tech, get into another field in that area or something along those lines. That can also help out too. But yeah, New York is just crazy. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't know how much your current monthly bills on everything is, but I know it would definitely be higher somewhere else. It is what it is. There's plenty of places that are cheaper than New York. But yeah, New York is crazy. I don't see that place improving for you there, unfortunately. Yeah, you and your friends could possibly think about maybe moving to another place, maybe within a year or so. So then you all can be in a new area where it's cheaper for everybody. I think that would probably be something that you can think about if you're like super close like that and you want to keep that there. But hey, you don't have to necessarily be by your friends 24/7 either. Like me and my best friend, we don't even live in the same state. He said my best friend, whenever we do text or if we come down here, we can still vibe. It's like it's like it hasn't been a day that we haven't seen each other. So you don't have to always be by your friends. You know, sometimes you do have to make that sacrifice so you can get to a place that you really want to be and not having to struggle every day.
Freaking out a little bit. Every single year, my rent has gone up by $100. I live by myself. I pay the entirety of the rent on my own. My new rent starting next month is $1,200. $1,200. For one, I don't know how I've even been paying $1,100 for the past month. I don't know how I've been doing it, but I've been doing it barely. To divulge some extra information that I probably should not divulge, I get paid every week. And for 2 weeks, I can't touch my paycheck, not even $1, because those 2 paychecks have to go to rent. I essentially don't have any money for 3 weeks most of the time during the month. And that just repeats month after month after month. So I'm not sure about what we're gonna do going forward. Luckily, it's my birthday next week, and I am going to get a chunk of change that I will be holding on to for dear life. But this is like a big reason why I wanted to be a part of the Creator Fund, because I cannot afford the cost of living, and I need to get my dog a behaviorist, which I also cannot afford. I need to pay off my credit cards, which I cannot afford to do. They have been closed for 3 years. I have been paying them off for 3 years. And I did try looking into like getting a part-time job, but I simply do not have time on top of my full-time job and having a dog that, I need to be home for. So if y'all know any way to make extra money that isn't, OF or something of that sort, it isn't something that I need to leave the house for because I have my dog, let me fucking know. Let me fucking know. I'm poorer today than I was yesterday, and I'm just going to keep getting more and more poor. So
Okay, I think that actually is a good one to end it on. Now, on this one too, I had a few red flags. Some parts I agree with, some parts I don't agree with. I guess again, we'll start with the parts I don't agree with. So she has a dog, and I guess she's saying that is the reason that she can't get a second job. I'm a big proponent of you shouldn't have animals if you can't afford them. Like if you're barely making it by right now and you get to spend all your extra money, I guess with a credit card on top of your paycheck to paycheck, and you don't have any money, and then you are trying to also have an animal too, like a dog who also needs extra special treatments and whatnot. I feel like, no, you shouldn't have a dog. I feel like you should be in a position that you can actually afford it. If your dog gets needs a surgery or anything like that, you're able to actually pay for it. Any food, you're actually able to pay for it. You're struggling, and then you're having your animal struggle with you. I'm just not like a big person on that. If you're doing that willingly, it feels like. So with that being said, for her, since she already has a dog, I'm glad that she is thinking about other sources of income. And that's what I would recommend if I was talking to somebody and they already had the animal already. I would look at ways that you can make additional money that, you are still able to take care of your animals. So she said the Creator Fund, which is the TikTok fund. I guess that's one way you can make money. Start making videos here, and hopefully you can make some side money that, you're able to still take care of your dog and pay for its extra fees while also paying for yourself. Yeah, I do. I think that's good. I also think too, I don't think she's doing this because she don't talk about the Creator Fund. But again, if you have a social media, you can post it on multiple places. So post these TikTok videos on Instagram, post it on Facebook, because Facebook pays money. And they can pay a lot of money too. Put it on Instagram. I guess Facebook owns Instagram, but you can still put it on Instagram as well. And put it on YouTube. You can even put it on Rumble. And that's all the big sites I can think of at the moment. But I will look at putting all your videos on multiple different platforms so you can make money on different platforms. So let's say you're making an extra $200 on TikTok this month if you're watching this. Now put those on the other platforms, and now picture you're making $200 each month on 3 other platforms. So now 200 times 4, $800 a month put it on a fifth platform, maybe you're making an extra $1,000 a month. That will be able to help you out a lot. And you can make sure your dog is actually good and not really struggling. So that's the first thing I would actually do. Since you're already posting social media content, go ahead and post those on different platforms. My second thing too, since she said she has at the house, it's a lot of different ways you can make money at home. You can look at Upwork, for example. That's a site I recommend, since that's a site I've used to make a lot of money. And you can find things to do for people at home. So you're able to still work your 9 to 5, and then you're able to come home and still make money online and legit. Now, I don't know your other talents, so you may actually work on like other ways you can make like other like skills, maybe video editing, since you're already on the camera right now. Upwork has a lot of different things too, where they like people who can like voice act, which you can try doing, or doing like reviews and stuff like that with your face on the camera. Since you're already doing TikTok, stuff like that, you may be good there. A lot of data entry stuff too, you can possibly look at as well. So that's some of the advice I would give for somebody like that. And if you're watching the video and you're in that same predicament, that's what I would give for you to help you out. But anyway, guys, if you got other advice for her or for other people on this, or maybe people who I haven't even talked about yet who are struggling right now, definitely let me know in the comments section below. Definitely intrigued to hear your thoughts. And I'm pretty sure everybody else is intrigued to hear you guys' thoughts. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button again, subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Peace.